Stop what you are doing right now. If you have a driver's license in your wallet, and especially if you are 55, 60, 65 years old or older, there is something happening in 2026 that the government has not been broadcasting loudly enough. And right now, millions of Americans are about to be caught completely off guard. We are talking about your driver's license, the card you carry every single day, the one you use to get to the grocery store, the pharmacy, the doctor's office, the one that gives you the freedom to go where you want, when you want, without asking anyone for a ride, without depending on anyone. That license could be suspended, restricted, or flagged as invalid, and many people will not even receive a warning letter in the mail before it happens. Now, here is the good news. If you are watching this video right now, you still have time. There is one critical step, actually a handful of steps, that you need to take before the deadline arrives. And by the time this video ends, you will know exactly what to do, how to do it, and where to go. So do not click away. Do not assume this does not apply to you, because the people who are going to be hurt the most by these 2026 changes are the ones who thought it would never affect them. Stay right here. I will walk you through everything. Segment 1. What is actually happening? In 2026, to understand why your license is at risk, we need to go back more than 20 years. In 2005, the United States Congress passed a federal law called the Real ID Act. It was passed in the aftermath of the September 11th attacks as part of a broader national security overhaul. The idea was straightforward: create a unified federal standard for state-issued identification cards and driver's licenses so that bad actors could not easily obtain fake IDs to board planes or access secure government facilities. Most Americans heard about it once, maybe saw a headline, and moved on. The states pushed back. Deadlines got extended. And for nearly 2 decades, life went on as normal. But those extensions are now over. The federal government has been rolling out Real ID enforcement in phases. In May of 2025, enforcement began at TIE security checkpoints in airports across the country. And in 2026, the next wave of enforcement is taking effect. This includes expanded restrictions on accessing federal buildings, military installations, nuclear power plants, and government services that require verified photo identification. Here is what that means in practice. If your driver's license does not have a gold star or black star in the upper right-hand corner, that little symbol that most people have never even looked for, then your license is not Real ID compliant. And without that compliance, you will be denied at TISA checkpoints. You will be turned away from federal buildings. And as state and federal systems become more integrated, you could face complications right at your local DMV the next time you try to renew. But the Real ID situation is only part of the story. On top of the federal mandate, many individual states are updating their own license renewal rules in 2025 and 2026. Several states have introduced or expanded requirements specifically for drivers over the age of 65. These include mandatory in-person renewals rather than online options, required vision screenings, and in some states, written knowledge tests or medical clearances that must be completed before a renewal is approved. Miss the notification, miss the appointment window, miss the deadline, and your license gets flagged for suspension. We have already seen the consequences play out in communities across America. A 68-year-old woman in Ohio arrived at the DMV and was told her license had already been flagged because a renewal notice had been sent to an old address she had moved out of 3 years earlier. A 72-year-old retired veteran in Florida tried to board a domestic flight to visit his grandchildren and was turned away at the gate because his license lacked the Real ID star. A 74-year-old man in Arizona had his license flagged as suspended because he missed a state-required medical form tied to his renewal. a form that was mailed to the wrong zip code. These are not isolated horror stories. These are examples of what happens when a massive bureaucratic system rolls out a major change. And ordinary people, especially seniors who are not glued to government websites every day, get left behind. That is exactly why this video exists. And that is exactly why you need to keep watching. Segment 2. Who is most at risk? Let us talk about who is most vulnerable to having their license suspended or restricted in 2026. Because while this affects all American drivers, there are specific groups who face the highest risk right now. The first group is anyone whose license is expiring in 2025 or 2026. Pull your license out right now. Look at the expiration date. If it shows any date in the next 12 to 24 months, you are in the active window. You need to start the renewal process now, not when the expiration date arrives, not next month, but now. Because the renewal process in 2026 is not as simple as filling out a form online and paying a fee. In many states, the renewal now requires in-person identity verification, updated documentation, and for seniors, additional screenings. These appointments are booked out weeks and sometimes months in advance. The second group at risk is anyone who has moved in the last 3 to 5 years. This one is catching thousands of people off guard right now. If you moved to a new address, even just across town, and you never updated your information with the DMV, the system still has your old address on file. Every single notice, every reminder letter, every appointment notification gets sent to that old address. And if someone else is living there now, those letters are going in the trash. You will never see them. And when your license gets flagged or suspended, the government's position is simple. We sent you the notice. The responsibility is yours. The third group is seniors who renewed their license remotely during the COVID-19 pandemic. Between 2020 and 2022, most states relaxed their in-person requirements and allowed drivers to renew by mail, online, or through extended grace periods. It was a reasonable response to a public health crisis. But the problem is that those remote renewals bypass the in-person identity verification that is required to achieve real ID compliance. So if you renewed your license during the pandemic years without going into a DMV office, there is a very strong chance that your current license, even if it expires in 2027 or 2028, is not real ID compliant. You could have a perfectly valid, non-expired license and still be turned away from an airport gate, still be denied entry to a federal building, still face complications at your next renewal because the system shows you have never completed in-person verification. The fourth group is seniors in states with age-based renewal requirements. Right now, the states of Illinois, Indiana, Maine, and several others have laws requiring drivers above a certain age to renew in person, pass vision tests, or provide medical documentation more frequently than younger drivers. In 2026, additional states are expanding or strengthening these requirements. If you live in one of these states and you are not aware of the specific rules that apply to your age group, you could miss a required step and have your license suspended without ever understanding why. And the fifth group, and this one is important, is anyone who has simply never checked. Most people assume their license is fine because nothing bad has happened yet. They have been driving for 40 years. They have never had an issue, so they assume the system is working. But the Real ID rollout has introduced a new variable that has nothing to do with your driving record or your history. It is purely an administrative compliance issue, and administrative issues do not care how good a driver you are. Segment 3. The critical step you cannot miss. Now we get to the heart of this video. The step, or really, the set of steps, that will protect your license and keep you on the road legally in 2026 and beyond. Step number 1 is to check your license right now for the Real ID star. Take your license out of your wallet and look at the upper right-hand corner. You are looking for a gold star, a black star, or in some states a bear holding a star, or a flag symbol accompanied by the word star. If you see that symbol, your license is Real ID compliant. You can breathe a little easier on the federal enforcement side of this issue. If you do not see a star, or if you are not sure what you are looking at, go to your state's official DMV website. Every state has an online tool or FAQ page that explains whether your current license is Real ID compliant. Do not rely on a friend's opinion or a social media comment. Go directly to the official government website for your state. Step number 2 is to gather your required documents before you go anywhere near a DMV office. One of the biggest mistakes people make is showing up at the DMV thinking they can just walk in and handle everything on the spot. Real ID verification requires specific original documents. You cannot use photocopies. You cannot use expired documents. The documents you will generally need include proof of your full legal name, such as a certified birth certificate or valid passport, proof of your Social Security number, such as your Social Security card, or a W-2 form, 2 proofs of your current residential address, such as a bank statement or utility bill with your name and address, and if your name has changed, legal documentation of that change, such as a marriage certificate or court order. If you do not have these documents ready, your DMV appointment will fail. You will be sent home. You will need to reschedule. And in a system where appointments are already booked weeks out, that delay could push you past important deadlines. Step number 3 is to schedule your DMV appointment as early as possible. In most states, you cannot just walk into a DMV office in 2025 or 2026 and expect to be seen the same day for a Real ID or renewal appointment. The demand is enormous right now. Offices in major cities and suburban areas are backed up significantly. In some locations, the next available appointment is 6 to 8 weeks away. Go to your state DMV website today. Look for the appointment scheduling section. Select the type of appointment you need, whether that is a Real ID upgrade, a license renewal, or an in-person identity verification. Pick the earliest available date. Write it down. Set a reminder on your phone, or ask a family member to remind you. Step number 4 is to update your address if you have moved. Even if your license is not expiring soon and you believe your compliance is in order, go to your state DMV website and verify that your current address is on file. This takes about 5 minutes. If your address is wrong, update it immediately. This single step can prevent you from missing critical mail notifications about renewal requirements, medical clearance deadlines, or suspension warnings. Step number 5, and this one is especially for our senior viewers, is to find out if your state has age-based renewal rules that apply to you. Search your state name, plus the phrase driver's license renewal requirements by age, and look for the official DMV result. Find out at what age your state requires more frequent renewals, vision screenings, or medical clearances. Find out if those requirements apply to you right now. And if they do, take action today, rather than waiting until a letter arrives, because that letter may not arrive in time. Segment 4. What happens if you do nothing? Let us talk plainly about the consequences, because some people watching this right now are thinking, maybe this does not apply to me. Maybe I will be fine. Maybe the DMV will send me a reminder and I will deal with it then. That thinking is exactly how people end up with a suspended license. If your license is suspended, the consequences in most states are immediate and serious. You cannot legally drive. If you are pulled over while driving on a suspended license, even unknowingly, you can receive a significant fine, have your vehicle impounded, and in some states face misdemeanor charges. Getting your license reinstated after a suspension requires fees, paperwork, and, in many cases, another waiting period. Beyond the legal consequences, think about the practical reality for a moment. For millions of seniors across America, a driver's license is not just a piece of plastic. It is independence. It is the ability to get to your doctor without calling a family member for a ride. It is picking up your prescriptions, going to church, meeting friends for lunch, attending your grandchildren's school events. It is your freedom. Losing your driving privileges, even temporarily, can disrupt your entire life. And the frustrating truth is that most license suspensions in this context are completely avoidable. They happen not because someone failed a vision test or has a bad driving record. They happen because of paperwork, because of missed deadlines, because of outdated addresses, because of a small administrative compliance step that nobody explained clearly. That is the real danger of 2026, and that is why taking action right now, today, matters so much. Segment 5, State-by-State Highlights. Now, because the United States has 50 different states, with 50 different DMV systems and 50 different sets of rules, let me walk you through some of the states where seniors are at the highest risk right now. In California, the DMV currently requires drivers age 70 and older to renew in person, pass a vision test, and in some cases, complete a driving test. Online renewals are not available for this age group. If you are in California and you are 70 or older, in-person renewal is mandatory. In Florida, which has one of the largest senior populations in the country, drivers over 79 must renew every 6 years rather than every 8, and vision tests are required at each renewal. Florida has also been aggressively processing Real ID upgrades, and the lines have been long. Book your appointment early. In Texas, license renewal requirements vary by age and county, and the state has a relatively streamlined Real ID upgrade process. But you must bring all required original documents in person. No exceptions. In Illinois, drivers age 75 to 80 must renew every 2 years instead of every 4, and drivers over 81 must renew annually. A road test may also be required. This is one of the most age-specific renewal systems in the country, and missing a renewal cycle can lead to license suspension within weeks. In New York, all renewals now strongly encourage Real ID compliance, and the state has seen high demand for DMV appointments throughout 2025. If you live in New York and have not yet upgraded to a Real ID compliant license, schedule your appointment as soon as possible. Regardless of what state you live in, the process starts the same way. Go to your state's official DMV website, check your compliance status, gather your documents, book your appointment, and do not wait. Segment 6. How to help your parents or loved ones. This segment is specifically for the adult children, caregivers, and family members who are watching this and thinking about a parent, a grandparent, or an elderly neighbor who may not be online, may not see this video, and may not know any of this is coming. You have a real opportunity to help someone you love right now. The next time you visit your parent or call your grandparent, ask them to pull out their driver's license. Look for the star together. Check the expiration date together. Ask when they last updated their address with the DMV. Ask if they have received any letters recently about license renewal or compliance. If there is any uncertainty, sit down with them at a computer and navigate to the state DMV website together. Help them gather the documents they will need. Offer to drive them to their DMV appointment. Offer to sit with them while they make the appointment online. This is a practical, meaningful way to protect someone you care about from a completely avoidable bureaucratic nightmare. 5 minutes of your time today could save your loved one months of stress, hundreds of dollars in fines, and the loss of the independence they have worked their whole life to maintain. Share this video with them. Call them after they watch it. Follow up and make sure they take the steps we talked about today. Segment 7. Frequently asked questions. Before we wrap up, let me answer some of the most common questions people are asking about this topic right now. The first question is, do I have to get a real ID, or can I just keep my regular license? The answer is, you are not legally required to obtain a real ID. However, without a real ID-compliant license, you will need to use a passport or another federally accepted document every time you need to board a domestic flight, access a federal building, or use your ID for federal purposes. For many seniors who do not use their passport regularly and do not want the hassle of carrying it everywhere, upgrading to a real ID is simply the more convenient and practical choice. The second question is, my license does not expire until 2027. Do I still need to do anything now? Possibly yes. If your license is not real ID compliant, you may want to go in for an early upgrade before your scheduled renewal. Many states allow this, and if your state has age-based requirements that apply to your age group, those timelines may be separate from your license expiration date entirely. The third question is, what if I cannot drive to the DMV? Most states have accommodations for people who cannot travel to a DMV office. Some offer mobile DMV units that visit senior centers and community locations. Some allow authorized representatives to assist in specific circumstances. Contact your state DMV directly and explain your situation. They will inform you of available options. The fourth question is, how much does it cost to upgrade to a real ID? In most states, if you are upgrading at the time of your regular renewal, there is little to no additional cost beyond the standard renewal fee. If you are upgrading between renewal cycles, some states charge a small administrative fee. Check your state's DMV website for the exact cost. The fifth question is, what if I already have a passport? Do I still need a real ID? A valid United States passport is accepted as an alternative to a real ID-compliant license in most federal settings, including domestic air travel. However, carrying a passport everywhere in your daily life is not practical for most people. Your driver's license is what you use every day. Making sure it is real ID compliant is simply the smarter, more convenient approach. Closing, call to action. We have covered a lot of ground today, and I want to close by bringing it back to what really matters. Your driver's license is one of the most important pieces of identification you carry. For millions of Americans, and especially for seniors, it is not just an ID. It is access to the life you have built. It is your ability to stay connected, stay independent, and stay in control of your own daily routine. The 2026 enforcement changes are real. The state-specific renewal requirements are real. The risk of having your license suspended or flagged is real. But the good news, the really important good news, is that every single one of these risks is avoidable if you take action now. Here is your action list one more time. Check your license right now for the Real ID star in the upper right corner. Look up your state's DMV website and verify your compliance status. Gather your required original documents, your birth certificate or passport, your Social Security card, and 2 proofs of your current address. Book your DMV appointment today. Update your address if you have moved. And if your state has age-based renewal rules, find out if they apply to you and when your next required step is due. If you are watching this and you have a parent or grandparent who needs to hear this, share this video right now. Make that phone call. Take 5 minutes to help protect someone who may not know what is coming. And if this video helped you, if it gave you clarity, if it motivated you to take action, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel so you never miss updates on topics like this one. And drop a comment below and let us know what state you are in. We read every comment, and we will do our best to point you toward the right resources for your area. You have worked hard your whole life. You deserve to keep your independence. You deserve to stay on the road. And now you know exactly what to do to make sure that happens. Do not wait. Take that first step today. This has been your complete guide to the 2026 license changes. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.